HDTV Ottawa. Only.
After suffering a devastating stroke, our guest today found hope for recovery through not just positive thinking and determination, but through a journey of rediscovery through art and writing an inspirational book titled Hope, Recovery, and a New Life, a stroke patient's adventure into freedom. Today we go one-on-one with Terry Stevens, artist, author, and an inspiration to so many. Terry Stevens,
yes.
Thank you so much for coming in and doing this.
My pleasure.
You're not nervous, are you?
Not too much.
No, not too much. The way, I know that there's so much to cover in a very short period of time.
Yes.
But I like to start right from the beginning and find out where Terry Stevens was born.
Yeah, I was born in Scarborough, Ontario.
And how did you end up here in Ottawa?
Well, I moved to Ottawa because I got a contract to paint the Saudi Arabian embassy with my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time.
Who's sitting over there watching.
Yes, yes.
Yeah?
And it was a large contract, which lasted, we thought it was going to be 2 months, and turned out to be 6 months.
Wow.
So I ended up getting more engagements in Ottawa, and then eventually moving here. We did faux finishing and murals,
Yes.
and gold dome ceilings and all kinds of things.
So where did you grew up in Scarborough?
Yes,
Siblings? You have siblings?
I have a sister, yes.
Is she still in Scarborough?
Yes, yes.
So what was growing up like for you?
Growing up was a very creative time for me. I had an impulse of playing the drums at a young age, 12 years old. And at first I got boxes from the local store, and
Cardboard boxes?
Cardboard boxes, and had my baby crib. I cut them down to drumsticks.
Yep.
And so
And went away.
it went away. Eventually got a drum and started playing, went through high school, and saved up money through being on the road with the band. And I played for about 2.5 years, saved up money, went to Berklee College of Music in Boston.
Wow.
And studied the jazz there. And that was a wonderful time. That was getting out of Canada, which I loved.
Was that scary for you?
No, it was an adventure. And then 3 years later, when I was 23, I went to Europe with a group called the Boston Jazz Sextet.
Okay.
So we were there for the whole summer. So it was basically a spirit of adventure. That was what I'm all about. And it still am.
So have you expanded into playing other musical instruments?
Well, what happened was I met a man named Kenneth G. Mills.
Yes.
And he was an incredible musician, philosopher, Renaissance man. And he played the piano and he taught vocal. So I ended up joining this group. He opened my voice to the point where I was singing at Carnegie Hall with this group called the Starscape Singers.
What year are we talking?
That was 1979 was the initial Carnegie Recital Hall.
Wow.
And then he said, we'd be on that stage in 2 years. And I thought, wow, how's that possible?
Yes.
And there we were, 2 years later, 1981, on Carnegie Hall. We did 7 concerts at Carnegie Hall. We did Lincoln Center, we did Roy Thompson Hall in Toronto, and 7 major European tours.
How old were you?
I was 23 when I started.
And your parents were okay with this musical journey that you were taking?
Oh, yeah, they were great.
Supportive.
Like, I think my mom, she cried initially when I left for Europe the first time.
I guess so.
You know,
I guess so.
It's a really big deal.
Yeah.
But I had an inner impulse that I had to fulfill.
Wow.
And that was the fulfillment of it. So
what was that? What were those years like, performing in front of people and doing all that traveling and stuff like that?
Oh, I loved it. You know, getting on stage every night and performing in front of large audiences. 1995, we performed at the Ed Sullivan Theater, and we're the first group to be recorded on high definition cameras at that time. and they had only 2 high-definition cameras in North America. And so there we were, seeing ourselves bigger than life in the studio, and that was exceptional. But the Carnegie Hall performances were amazing because it would get us nervous on stage, you know, of course. Because there were no microphones. We sang just a cappella live, 12 of us. So we got on stage, and our conductor, in his wisdom, said, "What are you making such a big deal out of this for? There are only 4 walls. You know, why do you think of it as you're in my living room?" So that relaxed us enough to do it. But it was an amazing hall.
Now, not only are you spent a lot of the time concentrating on music, but art, and we've got your artwork as part of our set today. We've got one of Terry's paintings behind me, as you can see, and one behind Terry. Take us back, because I know that you wrote a book about your health issues. Take us back, and it was a stroke that you suffered.
Wallenberg syndrome stroke, they call it.
Do you remember that day?
Oh yeah.
Take us back.
Very vividly. I was in the States at the time. We were in Watertown buying some speakers. And I got back in the car. Tish, my wife, was driving. And suddenly I went to drink some coffee. I said, "Tish, I can't swallow this coffee. What's the matter, you know?" And suddenly my words started to slur. And I thought, oh, this is not good. And
so you knew something was wrong?
Yes, I knew something was wrong. I felt a little out of kilter the day before. So here we're in the States, and I know full well I'm not going to stay there if anything's wrong. So we drove the 90 minutes, tested, to the Queensway Carlton Hospital. I got there, got into a wheelchair, went up to the reception desk. The lady took one look at me, and my jaw was all off to one side, and she knew it was a stroke. And she said, "How long ago was it?" I said, "About an hour and a half." And they got me into emergency right away. And
what year was that?
That was last year.
Oh, just last year.
April 2nd.
To be exact.
I'm
sure that's a day you don't forget.
Oh yeah. And
So what were you feeling the day before?
I just felt unsettled. As usually you can take care of something, you know, you feel like you got a cold coming on or a flu. And I felt more than that, but I had no mental description of what it was.
And you'd never had any symptoms of any neurological?
Oh no, nothing like that at all. No. So
did you know when you got to the Queensway Carlton Hospital, did you guys have a pretty good idea what was wrong before they even tried?
I had an idea, but when you're in that state, it's so much is happening that labels don't really mean much. You know. So Dr. Iyengar was the one who initially saved my life, and then I got into the hospital. We're up till 5 in the morning, and Tish stayed up with me, and then we got about 1 hour sleep. That's about it. And then they put all the tubes in me, so I could breathe and eat and all of that. And Dr. Rabinovich was a neurologist, and Dr. Henry was the ear, throat, and nose specialist, so he checked that part out. And there I was in the hospital in 6 weeks in ICU. And another 3.5 weeks in rehab.
Okay. We've got so much more to talk about. Terry Stevens is our guest, and he wrote a book, Hope, Recovery, and a New Life, and his experiences on suffering a stroke and the recovery, and it's an inspirational story that really good read for anyone who's out there to read this summer. Lots of time to read Terry's book. We'll be back. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back right after this.